evening. And welcome once
Good
again.
evening.
The Cairne Legacy. Oh, back again. Episode 3 of Beneath the Mirror Darkly. Yeah, I know, I've turned the captions off. Like, literally turned them off, and they still show up, so I just have to watch what I say. Luckily, I don't talk too much trash, I don't think, I hope. But yeah, OBS is really weird. But it's okay. I'd rather have them, I guess, to some degree, and it only picks me up, so. Go figure. But yes, anyway, thank you for that tune, by the way. Here we are, picking back up. Did anybody want to give a recap, or?
I can take a shot at it if you like.
More than welcome. Go for it.
All right. Across the course of our last session, we continued our journey north, over and under the water, towards Stonebridge from the lost island of Gorowin. The seas here are pretty nasty, but that's typical of Cairn. In particular, there is a colossally large sunken fleet, what was one of likely the Becht fleets at the time of the Blight. And it is a nasty zone that was disturbing Genesis greatly, so we detoured around it, brought us in proximity of another small island with a lighthouse, which we came to regret almost immediately. The island had a minor infestation of undead as far as we could tell, so we didn't go ashore. We were kind of sticking to just the edge of the water, avoiding a couple of pitfalls here and there, maybe some spirit sands that were going to eat us. As we left, a very large man with a very impressive running leap made his way from the center of the island, jumped about 90 feet across, and landed on the top of the Orti, from where he commenced a psychic assault. We were fortunately in the middle of a hive mind moment that listener can maintain for a brief time, so we were able to distinguish what was illusory, but when I tried to give him a nice big psychic punch and rolled, I think it was a 29. Was it a 29, Church?
30.
It was pretty high.
30, thank you, Master Miss. I was politely informed by our DM that it simply bounced off, as if there wasn't even a brain in there to begin with. So, fuck that guy. Good old Sticky Bones hitched a ride with us across this gap, and as soon as we got in visual range of the next island, formerly a Shawneesian rest resort, he made his way into the water. Out of sight, out of mind, I guess. We made landfall. We, split up a little bit, much to my chagrin, as it did slow us down badly, but here we are. We explored a little bit. There were the spirits, and eventually we located the bodies of a truly serious number of Shawneesians that had apparently been ritually sacrificed, bound to eternal servitude in death. It's really hard to say, but we've been poking into it. There seems to be some relation to the Shawneesian royal family at the time of the Blight, including somebody that some of us happen to know very well.
From a previous life.
Yes. Once, in the infinite whirl of adventures that had happened, we ran into some of those people. But that's about where we left off. We had been digging through some of the remaining piles of supplies. We had gotten some rations. We'd gotten some very expensive booze.
And some much-needed medical supplies as well.
Indeed, some alchemist's equipment. Everybody's happy about that. And I have a distinct feeling something terrible is about to happen.
In my world? No.
Nah, couldn't be.
No.
No.
So I'm sure it's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, of course. Nothing's gonna go wrong.
So yes, and that brings us to present. You guys have been poking around in there. The rest of you have been kind of keeping guard at your precious home away from home. And that brings us into episode 3. It's just the wind.
Laying on the ominous vibes.
So yes. So you've been picking around in here for a while. The rest of you have been ardently standing at attention, waiting for a potential return of this strange creature that's been harrying you ever since the Cave of Bones. He has not made another appearance. So, to begin with, now we do have some suspicions here, and granted, I think some of it's a little OOC, which is fine, but as far as what's happened here. So far, you've only really examined the central building.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of character guesses is that this had to do with the Ianacta Phoebe, but in character, Saoirse said, maybe it's Constantine. That's what I'm getting.
In character, I don't know if Phoebe actually made it into the historical record, did she?
She did. She did. Phoebe was taken away from her family. It was actually kind of like the Lindbergh baby of the Shunakesians, right up to... And, like, news never got out that she was reunited with her mother. There's hearsay, myth, and legend that they were reunited at the end, but that's speculative. But yeah, no, she was very well known about. She was an odd child, even by Shunakesian standards. But Shunakesians are very loving, very family-oriented.
Yep.
So yeah, a missing child was a huge deal. But yeah, so picking up from there, as you guys you're pretty laden down now with all these supplies that you've gathered. You've got crates and bags, and you're bristling with new supplies. I'll say at this point, you've pretty much emptied out this structure, at least out of anything visible. But you are weighted down now.
No, we originally came here for supplies, and we've gotten a lot here. If there's more we want to do out here, let's at least put the stuff back on the ship so it'll be stowed safely away. I can tell the others.
Fair dinkum.
Is there enough, like, loose material around that I could fashion some kind of, like, I don't know, sled or
No.
something to pull?
Nothing stable, no.
No.
Listener picks up one box on each arm and he just starts to make his slow way.
It's probably the smarter option. Let me move you guys just a little bit. This is actually bugging me.
The Orti, it is grow.
Yeah, it was way too small. That's a little closer.
If you move it down to the map layer, you can put all the player tokens on top of it.
That's true. Let's see, can I layer map? Oh my god. Now I have to go down to the map.
Yeah.
Or no, it wasn't that one. It was... Pay no mind.
Suddenly, a large portion of my map got darker.
Yeah. I guess the Orti is technically providing vision to each of us when it probably shouldn't be.
Weird. There.
It's back, and as is my
Oh my
vision.
gosh. Okay. Yeah, because it is giving off light. That's fine. We'll leave it where it's at. It's not hurting anything.
Oh, the rendering layers. Oh, it only does dynamic lighting on the token layer.
But yeah, is everyone following suit? Following listener, I should say.
Yep, I'll pick up as much as I can carry.
Not everyone, lol.
True. But yeah, getting what you found so far back, you can. You can make your way back to the Orti. And this is the direction you're going.
That's where I was going.
Okay. Alright, so as you make this corner and start kind of cutting between the two buildings, each of you are welcome to give me a perception check. You don't have to.
I love those.
I have boxes piled up very high in front of my face. I can't see anything.
That's fair.
I almost certainly don't actually have advantage on this check, so the 18 is the number.
It's all good. Oh. Wilhelm and his perception. The man never misses anything. As you're passing between the two structures, the ruin of the old lighthouse and the actual like facility that was once here, the two of you just barely catch movement inside the ruin of the lighthouse. Something scooted through the light for just a moment.
Friend Wilhelm,
Yes?
I direct your attention to the lighthouse. Do you suppose we have a visitor?
I also noticed it. And we did lose our strange hitchhiker. Perhaps if I had to pick a spot that would have some significance on this place, the lighthouse would be it.
I feel like it would be unwise to contest with that creature again. Its mind is simply not right.
I will agree. I think perhaps the best course of action would be just leaving it alone.
Alright. So you guys carry on back to the Orti?
Having warned Az and Saoirse both that we saw something in the lighthouse also.
Alright.
Yep.
It's just shadows.
Could be. You don't see or hear anything else as you make your way back to the Orti? Those of you on the Orti or around the Orti, because nobody was actually inside it, see the troop returning, arms laden with crates and bags and whatnot.
I think everybody
Small
was
casks.
actually inside it, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well.
I think the only person even vaguely outside was Lenway.
Yeah,
who was
Lenway was
standing on
outside.
top of it.
That's right. I imagine the others will see you through the windows.
Lenway actually might have seen something from his vantage point.
He did not.
Ooh, interesting. Well, got boxes of swag.
All right. So unloading them, I take it, into the Orti?
If we can, how did we?
It's a good bit of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is that crane still working?
in the moon,
Yeah, I don't remember if that crane's still working.
it does.
Oh, good. That might be the move.
Bundle it all up and get the Orti to lift up enough to do it. Yeah, that's a maneuver you can do. It'll take a little time, and that works just fine. Saoirse and Wilhelm, are you down there where your tokens are at, or are you up by the Orti?
I suppose we're up here by the Orti. Like, I mean, Saoirse would be following Listener.
Okay. Just making sure.
I'm following the group. I'm just behind.
Okay.
Bringing up the rear.
While this is going on, Uki, I have my I am on high alert, watching both from the water as well as around. So basically, doing my scouting perception, using the musket to see if I see anything around and such to focus my sight.
Okay. All right. So you guys are going through this procedure. You kind of bring the Orti up on land a little further. You get it to kind of lift up using the tentacular movement mechanisms. Tentacular. And kind of get everything on a bundle underneath, and then you use the small crane and start lifting it up. Everyone's working in unison. Some of you are keeping watch as this is happening. Uki, you're the only one that's actively said you're keeping kind of a active guard. So
yes, I am not helping to load. I am completely focused on guarding the party as they're loading in.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question.
What's up?
Will we get a chance to talk about what we did while they were gone?
Did you do anything in particular?
I would like to, but we never really...
Okay. What did you do?
I want to go back into the barracks and close the door. And then spend some time trying to study the staff from the King of Ash and Bone.
Okay. All right. Basically, are you trying to attune to it?
I mean, I'm not trying to attune exactly. I'm trying to begin the process. Like, I know it's going to be a multi-step thing.
Okay. Give me an Arcana roll, please.
Okay. Let's navigate to that. Arcana. And this is just I'm very aware it's not going to be my wheelhouse, but that's fine.
It's all right.
Arcana. It's regular, right? That's normal. Okay. I didn't put the advantage on by accident. Let's go. That's a 10.
Okay.
That is a 10.
Pretty bad.
So as it stands, it's a very foreign thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's crudely crafted, but at the same time, like, there is some artistic detailing that's gone into this that is just beyond normal human ability that you can tell. Like, this was not cut down and then carved, it was shaped as if done while it was still growing and solid. Like, there's wood in this, there's bone in this, there's bits of metal in this, and there's strange inscriptions all over it, and, you know, little fetishes and totems at the top that you're having a hard time making sense of it. But you're getting there. This will be a process.
Yeah.
The things you have to do when the spell identify doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So, how many times can I, over the hours that they were gone, is that just for the one attempt? And
Yeah.
I try again when they get back?
We'll say that was a short rest, basically.
Okay, so they're only gone an hour then?
They weren't really gone that long.
Okay.
Actually, wait a second. Identify still exists. I have Identify.
Yeah. I mean,
Got it from Evelett.
Magic still exists, definitely.
Yeah.
I know. I thought you got rid of Identify, though.
Oh, no. A lot of the old spells still exist.
So I guess I don't learn anything from that, right? I just kind of
No.
look at it and I'm like, oh, what's
Can't-
it made of? Like, what does it do?
I mean,
you know?
Yeah, no.
You kind of learn that it's old elven, like, you know, an old elf.
But at the same time, like, you have no arcane knowledge whatsoever.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I mean, like, Genesis has no arcane
Yeah,
knowledge. So.
and I locked the door for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
So basically,
That's
you're
not
sitting
bad.
there, like, focused on this thing. You're trying to get oral readings and trying to use your mental abilities to try and pick out something about it.
Right. It's gonna take a while to do. Yeah.
But yeah. So we'll say you're doing that. You can even continue while they're loading everything on, if you want. And we do have 2 people keeping watch as well. So, is there anything else you wanted to do, Genesis?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. Just making sure that, you know, I'm aware of my surroundings and that no one knows what I'm doing in here.
Okay, that's fine. All right then. In that case, Lenway and Uki, let's get some perception rolls, please.
Okay. Would I gain advantage because I'm looking for dangers in general?
I'll allow it for this. Yeah.
So we know that it's dangerous.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't really need it anyways, I guess.
Uki, you're focused. We'll say on the water side. Not really seeing much of anything dangerous standing out on the water side. Lenway's focused the other way, and happens to be looking at the lighthouse, and you get just this clear shot of this very pale figure, a woman, that slides kind of into view in one of the breaches in the structure and kind of looks out at the Orti and what everyone's doing and just watches for a minute. She doesn't appear to notice that you've seen her. She's not doing anything like aggressive or anything. She's just watching. Very pale, whitish, almost platinum blonde hair. Just standing there for just a few moments, enough that you can get a clear look at her, and then she sees you and kind of ducks back behind the wall.
Huh. Alright. I think he's probably gonna wait till after everyone gets on board. It's not a danger per se. Yet.
Okay. Do you do anything about it?
From his perspective, no. Not currently. He'll, like I said, he'll inform everybody whenever they're done loading things up.
Alright.
In case anyone wants to go back out, but he's not gonna stop everyone with the thing, unless it's like a direct attack or something.
Alright. Well, the time passes. They get loaded. Everything gets loaded on. No problems. And looks like everything's secured. You're good to go. Here, you guys talk 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Oh, talk.
Did I hear a very quiet "damn Daniel" in the background somewhere? Or am I just experiencing auditory hallucinations?
Yeah, no, I heard
from
"damn
having-
Daniel."
Sorry, my mic was on and I was picking up something from the other room. There's a party going on, but our neighbors are having a rather rowdy party, but I shut the door.
Okay, no, so I am just experiencing auditory hallucinations. There's no way that they were simply spontaneously generating "damn Daniels" at the
I
party next
mean,
door.
I heard it too, so unless we're both having the same hallucination.
What is Dan Daniels?
Damn Daniel is an ancient meme. By which I mean a meme that is roughly half as old as memes can be.
Though it was revived recently-ish.
Was it?
Within the last half a year to a year, it was
No
running through the
shit.
trends again.
Oh
Yep.
no.
I'm still here with you. I'm back.
Welcome.
All right, so Lenway, you said it was an elvish woman?
No, just
Okay,
a
sorry.
woman. You
A
couldn't
woman.
really make out enough detail to tell if it was elvish or not.
What? You mean I could? They don't have binoculars.
Well, I mean, they exist, but
They have binoculars? I don't.
They're a bit expensive.
Yeah, I guess. All right, he'll wait for everybody to group up, and he will. Well, he'll tell listeners. Listener seems to be the one who listens the most.
no pun intended.
That he is. He might not do anything about it either, but he'll listen.
Right. Let me just reach deep into my mucus and find the voice. Alright, so I saw a figure in the lighthouse over there. Yes, a woman. Very pale. It didn't attack, so I didn't find it important enough to say so until now. But just wanted to inform you.
Well, that's very good. We saw motion, but I thought it was our temporary passenger from the previous island. I was very concerned. So, would... You can't see dead people, can you?
Looks at himself for a second. No, I can't see the ones who have passed.
The ones without the bodies, the spirits.
I mean, no.
That's such a funny question.
Right.
I don't see dead people. No.
Well, that's very unusual then. Given what
Well-
we saw on the island, I would not have expected anyone to be living here. Or, well, close enough.
Well, maybe they're undead.
I would find
What?
this much more likely.
Yeah, I don't know much about being undead though, so
Hmm.
you know.
Listener doesn't have a mouth to smile with, but he might. Might have the feeling.
But we don't have to go back out. Though if we do, I'd like to go since I got bored.
Are we all inside the RT?
I
Nice.
imagine I am, at least.
Yeah, I assume you're on the inside.
Saoirse would be.
Okay.
Yep, stacking cargo.
All right. Uki, you two, you inside? Are you inside?
Is our intention to leave? I would have still been out while they're lifting up into it.
I don't think they
Is the
put the
horse-
call out that they're leaving or anything yet.
No.
Yeah. Yes, because the horse is down here with me too, right?
The horse is just there.
Yeah.
Horse is existing
No,
somewhere.
I'm actually still outside, but close to the, close to like the moonpool entrance type thing.
All right. So Uki's the only one outside. Okay.
I guess so.
All right. Uki, would you please give me a perception roll?
Mother of pearl.
Okay. Okay. So, Uki, you're standing there. You got your rifle out. You're just focused. Ready for danger. The drop of a hat. Your senses are just on fire. You're raring to go. And suddenly you feel this very light tap on your shoulder, and you hear this very soft, melodic voice, a woman's voice, say, excuse me.
What?
I quickly turn and I look, and do I see anyone? Who's there?
Yes.
Who's there?
you see her.
Where did you come from?
I could ask you the same question. Who are you?
A traveler. And you?
A resident.
A resident of here? I thought all the residents were gone.
Why would you think that?
Are you alone?
No, dear. No, definitely not.
Did you meet my companions?
No.
They were out walking around? No?
No, I watched them for a while.
Oh, I see. Well, I hope that this wasn't an intrusion. What's your name? If I may ask.
I do pray that you'll forgive me, and I do not mean this to be in any way rude, but names hold a degree of power, and I'm not sure I'm ready to give you mine yet. For now, let's just say that I'm a friend.
A friend?
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, again, we are travelers on our way through on a journey, and is there anything that you can tell me about this place?
Oh, at one time it was remarkably beautiful.
And how long have you been here?
Oh, I have no idea. It's dark all the time, isn't it?
Well, I could say it's possible. Do you have any family here with you?
No. Not
No?
anymore.
I see. Well, I'm I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I must say, we, I don't want to be discourteous. We are, as I said, travelers. We're very without supplies for quite some time. We're not thieves or marauders or such. And so, we hope that you can understand that that our members of our party may have taken just a few things to help. Is there something that we could offer you in return?
As you're speaking and trying to say, like, we didn't rob you in a polite way.
How do I say we didn't rob you without saying we didn't rob you? Like, let's like, oops, sorry, didn't realize it was yours. Can I barter something with this? Would you like this horse?
As you're stumbling over this, trying to get this out in a way that doesn't say, like you said, we're robbing you, the corners of her mouth just start to kind of turn up real slow, and she kind of gives you a sly little side eye, and she laughs, and it's a musical, like, friendly sound. She kind of laughs. She says, you've done nothing wrong. Anything on this island that you can find, you're welcome to. What is this strange contraption? This huge thing.
This is our vessel that we travel in. Not much to speak of, actually. Definitely quite a few repairs. Yes, I have a question for the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Is Pitch is on my back.
Okay.
And in the past, when we've been in an area where there's been void presence and such, it did start to, like, warm up. That was that reminder when we were down in that one. That's how I do. Is Pitch altered at all in its temperature?
It would be hard to say here. Everything is altered here.
Oh, that's true. All void altered.
Yeah, this whole place is just rife with it.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is a vessel.
Yes. It's a vessel. Have you traveled much yourself?
Oh, at one time, yeah, quite a bit, extensively. This goes on the water, like a boat.
It can. It can. It has a few other tricks up its sleeve as well. So, but and well, while she's talking to me, there's something because of just the way that she smiled that I'm sensing something's not right. I'm by myself, and so the question I want to know is, can I be? I am like literally going, tune in Tokyo, tune in Tokyo, and I'm trying to muster to think of if I can connect. And I say connect is like, can I project in a manner because of linkages that there's a vestigial type linkage to be like.
So I will say,
yeah,
listeners' abilities are one way unless they do the web.
got it. Understood.
Yeah, I will.
Genesis has a trick, but Genesis also has telepathy.
Yeah, I will give Genesis a chance to pick up your distress with her empathy.
Okay. What do I need to roll for that?
Intelligence check.
Okay, check not save. All right. Let's see here. 12?
Not really picking up on it.
Nah.
Oh, okay. So this is a dilemma going. Should have told somebody to listen out or to like.
Where in the ship is Uki?
She's outside of the ship.
I'm outside the ship. Yes, but I'm outside underneath the moon pool. So if there is anybody on the bottom floor where the boiler is
where I'd probably be stacking cargo, right?
Well, most of it was foodstuffs.
I think Uki said she was basically loading the last of it into the crane, and that's why she was still down there.
No, I wasn't. I was standing underneath the moon pool while the crane. So like I'm not actually in the orty. I'm below it because y'all were getting the last of it up. So it was because keep in mind, old scratchy bones, sturdy bones, wet bones, whatever. Sticky bones. Sticky buns. So for all I know, because we're stationary and the moon pool's not secure and y'all are just everybody's busy, I remained down there because again we also hadn't determined that we were leaving or whether you were going to go and look in the next area. So I'm below the orty, below the moon pool. So if anybody's at the crane, you would have, you're within earshot of me, I think. So if somebody's at the crane, so I'm going to say. So yeah, I'd invite you to meet my friends, but they're quite busy. They're the whole very large crew, 30 plus, are busy at work inside the orty, and they're really
30.
busy taking care of some stuff. But
30.
If you don't mind, I might be on my way now.
So, I've been here such a long time. Do you think I could just come and see? I've never seen something like this. It's a wonder.
Well, it's quite a bit crowded at the moment. As I said, we're in a state of disrepair. We would want to make sure it was set for guests.
You seem... Do I make you anxious?
Oh no, it's just that we have quite, it's been a long journey and we've got a bit further to go. And I apologize. I'm not nervous. I'm just distracted.
I'm no threat. Honestly, I've just been alone a long time, and I would love the opportunity to just see people, see anything but this ruin on this blasted island.
I would love for Saoirse at this point to come out onto the deck just to sort of gazed wistfully at the ruins, and then like, she maybe pick up what's going on with Uki?
You know what? Let's give it a 50-50 chance that you'll do that.
Well,
So-
also because I'm obviously talking. I mean, what it is that I guess I would think somebody's going to be asking where I'm at by this point. Not that I was necessarily getting into it, but somebody needed to let me know, either hey, we're gonna leave, come back in, or hey, we're coming down now, right? So it's like you wouldn't leave me on watch and forget about me.
Poor Uki. So yeah, just give me a D4 roll, high or low.
Hi.
All right.
Damn it.
I
Kill him, Smalls.
do have a question though.
What's your question?
So I would have tried to move the laboratory equipment up to my lab.
Obviously, yeah.
I'm doing it by myself unless someone helps me. How far will I have gotten it? Will I have been have I gotten it far enough away that I'm already moving it? Or am I still dragging it?
At this point, Wilhelm, you're probably in the lab organizing it.
Okay,
You've gotten it in there.
I would have carried the heavy things for you.
So here's what I'll do. As I get the feeling that you've been doing most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, I've been doing the heavy things.
So I'm going to say right about this point, you're coming back, noticing that the gear that you've loaded on thus far is done. And you'll look down from the moon pool and see, to call out to Uki saying, hey, we're done, come on. If that's all right. And then you'll look down and you'll see Uki standing with this woman talking.
Uki made a friend? That doesn't seem great.
It doesn't appear to be any aggression taking place or anything. Looks like they're just having a casual conversation. And I believe the distance from the ground to where you're at is still about, if I remember, about 15 feet? With the ortie lifted up.
Something like that.
Probably about 10 with gravity, we'll say. We'll knock it at 5 feet off.
Well, I'll call out through the busted moon pool to Fire Marshal Uki and request her presence on the bridge.
The woman looks up at you with this big friendly smile and just kind of waves.
I guess I'll wave back because that's polite.
Is this one of your friends?
Why? It is one of my traveling companions. Yes.
She looks up at you and does a very proper and polite elven style greeting, a bow worthy of your station. She recognizes you.
Oh wow, that's unusual. That hasn't happened in a while. I'm kind of taken aback. Who's your friend, Uki? Sorry, it's not Uki. It's
Yeah, it's Uki.
Uki, yeah.
It is Uki.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Who's your friend?
This young woman is a resident and a friend here on the island, apparently. Didn't catch her name, but she didn't share her name, actually. So now she knows my name, because you called me by name. So, yeah.
She looks up at you, Uki, and in perfect Galduinan, she says, I am a friend. You needn't worry.
I'll return the general greeting, as is customary in Galduinan.
She bows again, once again, respecting your office. I would love a tour of your vessel. I've never seen anything of its like.
Well, it's not my vessel. Let me check with the let me just check because I know we wouldn't want you to be harmed or anything with some of the repairs going on. Still I'd have to do some work on on some of the on the cannons. I take care of that diligently every day, every day. One moment, and I'm just backing up, going, and this is just, I will just say, OC is, it's not like, how do I say this? It's not like Uki might have. It's not like Uki hasn't had an encounter with Void Altered and obviously people affected by the Void. But it is that typically she's not the diplomat in the party.
No, I really love Uki out here like she just finished her handling the Fae training course yesterday.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is why I'm just going, yeah, I can do diplomacy between military heads and strategic military strategy, but when it comes to odd women, strange women on what we think is going to be in an island, because all that I know from the party coming back was essentially, I'm not going to assume that we had a huge debrief. It's we found some stuff, let's get it in. Okay, I'll watch.
Yeah.
So, hadn't really debriefed yet about whether or not there are people here. The assumption was there weren't anybody here, so it's kind of odd. I'm going, did somebody forgot to tell me that you found some people in here? It's, so that's where I'm at.
That's fine.
Just kind of struggling, going, can I get some help down here? Because it's like, I don't want to let someone in.
She's not going to hinder you if you take the crane up.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to stop you. She agrees to wait.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, let me just talk to the rest of my party again. I realize you've been alone and here, say hello to the horse. I don't remember its name, but that's a very calm creature as well. And I'm gonna take the crane up.
Is the horse outside? Did we decide?
Yes.
No, the horse isn't outside. I just wanted him not. I want him to be available in a sense. Like, he probably would have been outside when I was outside, but he's not outside anymore.
I asked when y'all went up, is the horse was still out with me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah,
it's okay.
You can go up the crane and into the belly of the Ortiz. She'll just friendly as can be, big smile. She watches as you go and kind of gives you a little wave and just starts to kind of like kick her toe in the dirt and look around and checking out the bottom of the Ortiz.
I think Saoirse will head back in now.
I'm gonna go look for outside voice.
I'm gonna get up and say, hey folks, I met a resident of the island. Did y'all happen to come across anyone when you were looking around? I know that you only really searched one area because you came back from that area and not that, but are there residents here and we didn't realize it?
I think Listener and Wilhelm saw movement, but we didn't really catch anything.
Well, this young woman, whose name she has not shared, would like to take a tour of our ship. And I don't really think that's a good idea, but I thought I told her I would at least come and talk to the rest of the party. Simply because we have a few choices here. We could get out of here, or if you have more work to do here. But something just seemed a little off about her in the way that she was speaking. Yeah.
That is a bit strange considering the conditions. on the island, and especially with it being so close to the void, I don't see how anyone could live out here for extended periods of time without being void touched. Or at least altered in some way. I don't want to be unfriendly, but letting her onto the ship in our personal space seems a bit much.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking that would be a good idea either. I just I wanted to make sure checked in regards to, do we have more, is there more to be done on this island to explore? Or are we leaving? Should we leave, or do we need to go back down to continue looking for anything else for our travels?
I mean, the main thing that we stopped here to get was any sort of supplies for Wilhelm. If we could find any sort of like herbs or fungi or anything, but we found so much more that'll keep us for a while, actually, but I kind of wanted to see about maybe helping the Shawnakesians, the ones who have passed. I don't know what sort of spell they are under and what binds them, but I wanted to see about maybe cutting open their lips.
Oh.
But I don't know. We can also leave if it's too dangerous. We have what we came here for.
Did you look at her? Did you look at her? See, do you recognize her when you say, like, did you happen to see anyone that perhaps she resembles, like a family member? I mean, she said she didn't have anyone with her, but I wondered if perhaps, if she's a resident, if you'd come across one of her family members.
Well, Uki, I didn't even see her. I don't know how she looks.
She's still standing down there.
Yeah, I thought. It was Genesis who was on the deck and looked out. Okay, got it.
Oh, Saoirse.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, Saoirse just failed her role to see anything.
Oh, that's what it would. Okay, just now. Got it. Okay. Well, well, I noticed that she, but I will say she bowed to, oh gosh, it was, as, she bowed in such a manner that seemed vaguely familiar, that I've seen, I think maybe you? As? Well, I'm not gonna play dumb on that. I would think that might be something that I would at least know. That part of the culture is to know the Shawnakesian greetings, right?
Whose culture in particular? Or do you mean the Galduina?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Galduina.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Galdu. Sorry.
I doubt anybody now living apart from Az and maybe the Queen are actually experts in Galduinan formal culture.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It's kind of gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's all. So you're the only one in the party. Okay. Oh well.
And Az
that one without rolling.
Az is still figuring out that that's gone too. That discussion hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So
you guys haven't really, you've just given me a brief little tour of the ruined world. You haven't really even started to explain it's been ruined.
Things messed up, yo. Let's go.
Yeah.
and then it was, what the fuck did you guys all do?
Well, I have built up in my lab a chalkboard, and I lay it all out. I have to flip it like 3 times. I'm ready.
So,
I
where?
think at this point, Saoirse is going to walk over to the moon pool and look over the edge so she can look at whoever, like, it is that Uki was talking about.
All right. So you look over the ledge. And I imagine you kind of timidly just kind of peek.
Yeah.
As you do, you lock eyes with her. She's staring up at you, smiling. She has very, very undamaged Shawneesian features.
Who?
And she looks up at you, and clear as a bell, in your native tongue, she says, Anam Kara is Anam Dum, which in your language would be, my name is friend of your soul.
I just got the goosebumps. Wow.
Saoirse is just going to, like, wave back and say, hello, you are unscarred, sister, in Shawneesian.
She replies, her smile brightening, as does her whole expression lights up. And she says, once again in Shawneesian, and you are ever as beautiful as any of our kind have ever been.
Saoirse nods in just sort of polite recognition with, like, honestly a very sincere smile, like, on her face. And then she'll say in Shawneesian, I must return to converse with my friends more.
I await your decision. I will be here.
Also, in all of that, can I get an insight check on her?
Well, what are you trying to determine?
Just to see that she is genuine, like, not putting on a face or anything, because this is weird.
Sure, go ahead. I'm gonna roll against it no matter what she's doing, just so that it keeps you guessing.
Fair enough. But I'm a Shawneesian. I got an advantage on this shit.
You do.
It's not super high, though.
Alright.
Oh.
Everything she's saying seems incredibly sincere, heartwarming, comforting even.
Well, Saoirse, returning to the group, is going to say, she looks like an unblemished Shawneesian. That's a mite odd. That's really odd.
Odd? What do you mean? That's just what they look like.
There we go.
That's what we used to look like as. No Shawneesian born after the Blight. No Shawneesian after the Blight is not without these scars, and she is going to point to her face. Whenever the Blight came down, with possibly the lone exception of the Somnambulists themselves, every Shawneesian from then on was marked. Every Shawneesian received these scars. Every Shawneesian since has been born with these scars. She seems sincere and, like, very warm even whenever I spoke to her, but the fact that she is unblemished is very strange.
You.
She spoke like a noble.
She spoke perfect Shawneesian as well.
She knew my customs.
She's one of my people, supposedly.
Excuse me, but being less familiar with your culture, could you explain how you mentioned that the only unblemished are the somnambulists? Have you ever encountered one, or how would you know?
The Somnambulous is why we're even on this journey to begin with. That's what kicked us off. I followed one into a tavern near in Carrick's Cross, and that's when we heard the fourth utterance of the prophecy. And that's why we're here on this journey.
Oh yes, I do understand that. I know that that was before I joined your party. But are you saying that there's more than one, or do they take more than one form?
They're all Shawneesians. There are 12 of them. Well, there were 12 of them. Whenever they utter the prophecy, they all crumble into piles of dusts. And 4 of them have uttered the prophecy so far. So there are 8 remaining that are wandering the world of Cairne. That Saoirse knows.
So again, pardon my ignorance, but is it quite possible this young woman could be one of those 8 remaining?
No. It's not at all. Whenever they go about Cairn, they almost seem as if they're sleepwalking. You cannot speak to them or get their attention or anything. They just wander along, seemingly unaware of the world around them. The only time they speak is when they utter the prophecy.
Intriguing. Thank you so much for sharing that story of your culture. Do you have another hypothesis as to who this young woman could be if she's unblemished, such as she is?
Well, of course, Uki, but
I mean, pardon for the for the intrusion. Because I know some of that your history is very personal, but
it's no trouble at all, Uki, and you'd be one of the few people who I don't mind sharing it with. It's just I don't know. I don't have any idea. Like, she seems to be one of my people, but she wouldn't be unblemished. This is odd. I don't have any reason why this is so.
Duly noted. Well, thank you so much. You've been so instrumental in my own personal development to ask questions before rather than shoot first and ask questions. So I do appreciate this because I look to you for your guidance and being a bit, not being too hasty and making the best decision for everyone within this.
While Uki's saying this, she'll just walk over and throw her arms around Uki in a hug.
Uki just kind of freezes a little bit and is like, "Oh, okay, pat." Because Uki typically doesn't have a lot to say, does not talk about vulnerabilities, but it is that moment of recognizing don't trust, but also don't assume, and find the resident expert. So.
So, I will say right about this point, you hear the very soft, faint voice from below begin to sing just an old song, kind of almost as if she's just kind of absent-mindedly humming, but it makes the goose flesh rise up on your arms and shivers come up your back. Like, it's just astounding. This is a taste of the old songs. This is, even for Saoirse, this is like, oh wow. Like, Grandma used to make me feel this way.
Question, teacher.
Yeah.
Listener and Lenway have been up on the roof area in the cockpit, kind of bonding, being weird.
I did set off to find and retrieve you, like as soon as I departed from, like,
That's fine.
the greeting with her at the moon pool. So I would have probably gotten to you by then.
Oh yeah, no, that's a quick trip.
Brought you like down.
Congratulations, Lenway. You've returned right as we return to the scene.
So unless Wilhelm is still in the lab, I'm assuming everyone is.
That's the question. Did anyone come and get me? Was that conversation just like into the moon pool area? Am I just in the lab all by myself?
I assume it's taking place on like the second
Oh,
floor.
we can.
On the bottom floor in
Yeah.
the boiler room.
We can say that listener reached out and hit you with a message if you want. I don't think that would be an issue.
Yeah. If I was told by Az that somebody has come out of the lighthouse and is talking to Uki, I would let Wilhelm know. Hey, it probably wasn't that guy in the lighthouse. It was some other person. Also, there's some other person here, which is weird.
I am.
Yeah, Uki
Yes.
made a friend, and also she's very old. Don't be deceived.
I would like to come down
Okay.
and join them.
All right. So everyone has basically joined down in the belly of the Orti. You can all hear this just enchanting melody being almost just sung nearly under her breath from below, but it floats up through the moon pool, and it's beautiful. Like, it's just stunning.
So now we're all kind of gathering around. We're looking down through the moon pool at her, right?
Are you? No, I assumed everyone was kind of away from the moon pool, just out of sight.
Yeah, we were away from the moonfall for the discussion.
Listener is
I-
far too curious and is walking right over to the moon pool.
I am probably going to try to come down because now that I know that there's someone living, I'm going to make sure they're okay.
Okay. So she looks up. Listener, are you being inobtrusive?
I'm just kind of constantly mildly invisible, so let me give you my stealth. Let's see what my stealth is.
All right.
It's 13. Not particularly stealthy.
Okay. I'm gonna say she sees you. Passive
Yeah.
perception will nail that.
That's fair. I'm not trying to hide or anything.
So she first off she looks at listener with kind of a raised eyebrow. Oh, thanks, Debbie. 21 months. Wow.
Oh,
I was like, oops, I didn't need to pull up the stream. Oh, look. Sometime.
But yeah, with she looks at a listener with a raised eyebrow, still smiling, more of a curious, like, you're interesting. She waves at Wilhelm, waves at Lenway.
Now that I'm looking down, what are the spirits doing?
The spirits,
Yes.
they haven't changed.
Right, so they're not anywhere near her, they're not facing her, they're just around.
They don't seem to be paying any attention to her at all.
Okay. That's also kind of interesting, given that they were so attentive to us.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after Saoirse started singing. If she's singing one of the old songs, I assume the spirits would be like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, no, they don't appear to be having any reaction to her at all.
They've heard that one. They've seen her before. She's old news. You're new.
Yeah.
You brought in like some new hits. Like, oh, what's on the top 100 these days?
And Wilhelm, you said you're going down?
Yes,
Okay, so
I am.
you hop on the crane, and is someone lowering Wilhelm down?
I'll go with them.
All right. Well, who's operating the crane from up top? Somebody has
I
to.
guess.
Okay.
I'll lower him down.
All right. So the two of you go down on the crane. She kind of looks between you, gives that kind of curious raised eyebrow to listener again, and then turns and looks at Wilhelm with a slightly less, it's still friendly, but a little bit more of a wary look.
I give a picture-perfect bow, doffing the hat as well.
In full Baccalaureate glory.
Oh, full noble Baccalaureate glory.
All right.
He practiced that bow several times a day at finishing school.
There were rulers if I didn't do it right.
She watches you do it, and then actually kind of takes one step back, grabs the folds of her skirt, and does a perfect curtsy. And in Baccalaureate, she says, "A noble greeting to you, good sir." You notice that her dialect is a little dated.
I respond in Shonakesian. Thank you, my lady. It's a pleasure. I am Wilhelm.
A learned member of the Empire. How rare. Well
More
met.
often than not.
Well met. Are one of you the captain?
Again, listener lacks most of the ability to laugh. But what does she do if I try and reach out to her mind?
Are you trying to?
Yes, because he can answer that question, and listener's very talkative.
Okay. So you try to reach out, and it's like nothing's there. It's like normally your mind will lock onto somebody and you'll reach out and kind of get a psychic touch on them. It's like, whoa, what? You're just kind of passing through air. It's like nothing there.
And this is why I was hoping listener would be coming around.
I would like to make an investigation to see through illusions.
Okay.
Because I have 2 recent experiences for this, and one is that there is not a person actually here.
Alright, go ahead.
That could have been higher given my 8 investigation bonus, but here we are.
She seems completely real.
Alright, the other one. Does the sensation differ meaningfully from the experience I had with old Sticky Bones?
Oh, yeah, significantly.
Alright, just had to check that.
It's more of a null than anything that's painful or even threatening. It's just not there. I'm probably not describing that in a good enough way. It's more like you just can't make the connection.
Listener tilts his head to one side, and he refers over to Wilhelm instead and says, "My friend, she seems to be there, but there's no mind to speak to. Either that or she's hidden it very well."
She's just looking at the two of you curiously as everybody goes quiet.
Addressing her, this figure here is actually the captain. He communicates rather oddly, though. He speaks directly into the mind.
What?
Would you be willing to let him speak to you in that way? He has no mouth to speak vocally.
Fascinating. What are you? What is he?
I assume that no mind has shown up
No.
to speak to in the interim, so...
No, nothing.
What listener does, he holds up his 2 hands and forms a circle in front of him as if it was a large O.
Nice.
How... Pardon me, but I assume this is the first one of them you've encountered.
My dear sis, I think I would have remembered. I don't mean to be a bother, and that symbol is very powerful. It contains so much meaning with such a simple thing. And I respect that. I have no idea how to allow what you're asking. If it were possible, I would happily. I have no idea how to do that, though. I'm afraid I'm just a simple songbird.
I would
Can you
like.
ask her if she is alive, Wilhelm? Would that be rude? I'm unsure. Usually I just ask.
Are you alive? Poke, poke.
I would like to make a insight check into this whole conversation, including this next little bit as well.
Okay.
Well, pardon me, my lord. The gentleman has a way with the spirit, and we have encountered many, not only on our travels, but on this very island. Have you had any issues with them?
Is he a necromancer?
Forgive me, my lady. I am knowledgeable of certain things. When it comes to the term necromancer, my knowledge is rather limited. I do apologize, but I don't believe so, just from my understanding. But again, my knowledge on that is slightly lacking.
Oh, you know what I can do here?
There's a 25 insight.
That's nice.
That's good. So, what are you trying to suss out exactly? Give me...
There's a couple pieces of information that I wanted to see, not only like the truthfulness, but when she said just a simple songbird, that she would let him in if she could, and to see how truthful she is, or if she's hiding.
All right.
A little vague, but I'm.
All right. You get the sense that she's being very honest for the most part, but that she's holding a little back.
I mean, she never told Uki her name, so.
Which, and Wilhelm, to be fair, from ding dong.
Sorry, I'm in the dining room.
No, you're good. To be fair, she's standing in front of a huge contraption that came up out of the water and horribly outnumbered. So for her to be a little defensive as far as holding back, it's not an unnatural response. Granted, I mean, there's some weirdness going on, but at the same time, like, her not being completely open and telling you everything you want to know is probably the smart move from her perspective. Yeah. But you don't sense any, like, direct lies, and that's kind of what you're looking for. You get the sense that she is, for the most part, being honest. If there is any dishonesty, it's just a lie of omission.
So I've got a trick up my sleeve, Church.
Okay. Calling card.
My assumption is that this generates an actual calling card.
It does.
I would like to generate a calling card. Listener has never had means to use this.
All right.
When he learned it out of the book, he said, "What on earth would you want that for? What does this do?" But nevertheless, he learned it. He's a dutiful student. And he says, "Ah, of course." And so he just kind of snaps his fingers, and a card appears, and he hands it to her.
She takes it.
The card reads, "I am listener. My people are the Ogham. I see dead people."
That's actually a very brilliant use of that spell. She looks at it and reads it, and looks back up with you with that kind of half-cocked smile. She says, "I see. Listener of the Ogham. And I'm afraid there are plenty of dead people here for you to see."
Listener nods.
Much to the pity of the lost.
Yes. Now, question to you, Church. Can I only generate a card that is reliably an identifier for me, or can I put arbitrary text on the card? Your choice.
You know, I'll say, like, as long as it's nothing like you're not putting a novel out there, it's just a few lines of text.
Yeah, real short, real short.
Yeah, why not?
Alright, so I generate another one and hand it over, and this one reads, "Yes, their spirits are all around us. Why are they here?"
Well, that's a sad question. I tell you what, I don't want to impose, but there is obviously some apprehension, and I understand, about inviting me aboard your vessel. But you're obviously still very curious, as am I. Why don't you invite me aboard, and perhaps we could sit down and openly just discuss things. And then if you're still uncomfortable with my presence, I will leave of my own accord. I'm obviously no threat. I've been alone for a very long time.
Now, she's right in front of me. Oh, Az out here. Az out here with the knowledge. I wanna know Az's knowledge first.
Okay. What are you trying to learn?
Well, I mean, it says compared to my own strength, con, armor, like AC, like HP stuff.
This is a weird fighter trait?
It is. It is a weird fighter thing.
Okay.
Like a weird battlemaster thing, I think.
One of the most rarely used, but very flavorful battlemaster abilities.
Observing or interacting with another creature else, you can learn information about its capabilities compared to your own. So,
Gives you high-low, basically.
Is she stronger than you, more deft than you? That type of stuff. Nothing exact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just high-low equal for each of those things.
And this is interesting. Like, she's a small-framed woman. Nowhere near your size. She doesn't look muscular or strong. She's quite graceful in her movements. Very graceful, in fact. She's wearing loose-fitting gown and skirt, or skirt, excuse me, and top. And it's a remarkably good shape, by the way, her clothing. Very well put together, lace and design. It's very pretty. As far as class and levels, I don't know why you would know that just by watching somebody, unless they were actively using abilities. So,
not necessarily the class, but total class levels. Basically just like total character level he gets to know.
Yeah, even that, like, I don't understand why you would know that just from watching somebody have a conversation.
Yeah, I think they'd
That's
have to do
kind of the
something
battle
more.
master thing.
Yeah, but that's like a psychic power. I'm gonna skip the class levels just because that's broken. I'll say that she doesn't seem stronger than you, perhaps more graceful. She doesn't appear to be a warrior of any kind. She's not wearing any gear that would pertain to being a warrior. She doesn't move like a warrior. She seems very aware of her surroundings. It's very perceptive.
Hmm. Okay, I will vote in favor of then, because I'm pretty sure I could just snap her in half like a twig.
Yeah, you definitely get the feeling you could.
Yeah, that's the impression I get.
She's smaller than Saoirse. Not that Saoirse's tiny.
She's 6'2", but she is pretty skinny.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's smaller than Saoirse. She's very small framed.
So, that being said, we're right up close. Obviously, she's not a regular spirit because everybody can see her.
Mhm.
I'm going to turn the spiritual senses in her direction. We got any strange border effects of a improperly attached soul?
No?
No. We got any indication that she is not made of flesh and blood as a living creature tends to be?
I mean, she appears to be.
Hmm.
I'd like to quickly look over at listener, kind of open the connection.
Yep.
I believe we should let her in. If you want to see if you can speak to the others, that
Yes.
way we can, if they wish to have a vote without hearing our responses.
Yes. I am dreadfully curious. So I will ping back up to all of the crew that I can get in contact with from my current position.
This should be all of them. They're all gathered up there.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep talking to her very politely while they're having this conversation, so we're not being rude and ignoring her.
All right. All right.
I will inquire. She is very strange. She does not appear to have an accessible mind, nor to know my people, or a great deal that she is willing to discuss. But she wants desperately aboard. Shall we have her as a guest?
I mean, I don't know anything, and I'm here. Like, you still haven't told me what you are, outside voice. You're just talking in my head. You haven't explained that yet either. So, I mean, I'm going to the kitchen to start a pot of tea.
Fair.
All right.
Saoirse will voice her yes. In my mind, she was listening to all of y'all's conversation and heard all of that. I think she wants to know what happened here, too.
Like, y'all owe me some explanations, and it seems like she needs some too.
This is true. All right. Anybody else? Want to chime in with a vote?
Lenway's too new to even say anything.
Okay.
Genesis's opinion.
Concerned. But, you know.
She could hardly be as bad as the spirit tree.
Or the engineer who's on board. Maybe they could, have a conversation.
Grumbles.
Right? Or is the engineer inside list? Where's the engineer inside listener?
No, he's hanging out below decks now.
Yeah, the engineer has his desk that he kind of likes to be at. think
So-
probably Evelyn's spirit is along for the ride right now. 1 is my current capacity.
So, Genesis, what was your vote other than concern? Is it yay or nay?
It's a tentative yes.
Okay. Uki, you're
I'm a bit leery, but I think I defer a bit. I guess I'm going with consensus.
okay.
You know, so just I'll be very watchful.
Saoirse will look at Uki and mouth to her. It's 7 versus 1.
That's true too.
Good
yes.
odds. All right. So that's a overwhelming yes, basically. All right. So do you tell her? Wilhelm, you're the one chatting her.
I don't know what the responses are though.
Alright, so once they're collected, listener goes and stands over by the hoist, the crane, and he says, "Friend Wilhelm, the group seems to have agreed that we shall admit her aboard." And listener makes a sort of gesture towards her to, please come stand over here.
I'm being permitted aboard.
Yes, we've listened to your offer and we agree. If you would like to take the crane up, welcome aboard.
You're very kind. Thank you. She moves to step onto the crane. Is she going up alone, or are you all riding together?
Riding together, I think.
All right.
Yeah, we'll
It's
ride
sturdy.
together.
It can take us.
All right. Okay. So you ride the crane up. Now that you've invited her aboard, she's kind of brightens up a little more. The crane comes up slowly, the 3 of you, and she very gracefully kind of steps off, looks around the room, and once again offers a very polite little bow to everyone else that she's just now meeting.
Before we launch the conversation, shall we take our union break and have drinks?
Yes.
We certainly can. All right. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. Please stay tuned.
Don't touch that dial.
Back in a minute. And we're live. Alright, well, welcome back. Welcome back with our new travel companion.
Somebody.
She is so happy to be here with all of you right now. So, she is aboard. Everyone's all happy and friendly. Right?
But generally,
I assume there's some sort of like place that we can all sit and talk.
The dining room.
The dining room.
Yeah. So why don't I shuffle us to the Orti map? Why not, huh?
yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Let's see. I have so many maps. There we go. The outer board, the Orti. You may move yourselves into the galley.
Since I cannot directly communicate with our guest, and since Kris is not back yet, how about he and I keep lookout? Because I really would hate to be ambushed by old Sticky Bones.
It's your call. I certainly
Can I
will not
ask?
keep you away from it. Yes.
Sorry. One quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since my last attempt?
Are you gonna go back to your quarters and?
I mean, I would try to keep an eye on the time, you know?
You're gonna miss out on the conversation?
Yes. If that's allowed.
Well, it's
Which-
your call.
I feel like I'm making an attempt to do this when people are distracted enough not to notice.
Are you trying to hide it from them?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I had to move the mic closer because apparently I didn't catch the first one.
Oh no, I heard you. I'm sorry. I heard you. My bad.
Sneaky.
All right,
So
so
I'm just kind of being aware of the time, you know. Oh, no, look at that. I should probably head downstairs. Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. So yeah, you go back and start doing that if you like. That's fine.
You could learn so much faster if you ask listener, but then it wouldn't be secret.
Trying to keep secrets. All right.
I'm just, you know, making my priorities what they are. You know?
Yeah, of course.
It's all good. We're used to it. With Genesis being secretive.
I mean,
Yep.
if anybody, you earned that staff.
I also earned the retribution of the guy that owned it if he's not dead, which I'm not confirmed yet. Right?
That volcano absolutely went off. I imagine he's dead.
Oh wow, the king of ash
And Bone.
and bone is gonna die to a volcano that he's sat up on top of.
Either way, he's a long way gone. With no boat of his own that you know of.
Yeah, that I know of.
Sorry, that's a DM habit.
Yeah. No,
Just
that's
sitting there
a
chilling. Roll
that's
for
a
initiative.
safer assumption than most. We probably have one of a bare handful of seaworthy vessels in existence.
Certainly not a lot of
This is-
wooden ones.
Yeah, this is airship land now.
Yeah.
All right, so you're off to your quarters to study your stuff. Everybody else, I'm assuming, is in here except for Listener and Lenway. Oops, let me fix that. So you guys are in the galley. Az is cooking up some food. She looks around in wonder as she walks through the vessel just kind of letting her fingers brush along the walls and stopping to pause and admire the craftsmanship that went into it. That type of thing. But yeah, I assume you lead her in there. And she sits down, very demurely, folds her hands on the table, and kind of looks at you all with a smile. Says, well, how do you want to begin this?
Well, just wherever you think is appropriate.
Me?
Bring in the pot of tea.
One quick question.
Uh-huh.
Should I roll Arcana now, or?
You can, that's fine.
So we're using the same knowledge that that we gleaned before, and we're being very careful and meticulous and taking notes and being like, okay, we're gonna be careful. We're gonna. What is this? You know, what's the vibe of this thing? You know, and we're specifically using points this time.
Okay.
Not bad at all. 15.
Hey, pretty good.
It's not bad. Still not really enough to glean anything.
Yeah.
Just like I said, you're fighting a rough battle with this one just because this is so far out of your wheelhouse. But yeah, you won't really glean much anything new. You can tell. I'll tell you that you can tell that the writing is significant to the functionality, but you can't make sense of it.
Interesting. Cool.
So, and you're welcome to return when you feel enough time has passed there.
Okay.
So, you're basically putting the ball in her court.
Yeah, I mean, listener, or Wilhelm, listener asked her the question, so, you know, she knows kind of what story we would like to hear, so, yeah, however she wants to start the story, then, yeah.
Okay. What was the exact question again? Refresh my memory. Sorry.
It was about all of the dead people. Why are there all these dead people?
Oh, that one, yeah. So you want to know how all our countrymen here died. That's, they came here following somebody. A young woman. One of the Enoch girls.
I gleaned from the document that it was Constantine. Was it her?
Constance?
Remember? Constance, yeah.
I was not allowed to be with them.
Saoirse nods her head and will say, sorry for the intrusion. Continue.
No intrusion, sister. No intrusion. I understand your curiosity. I've been cut off from the world for quite some time, and she looks over around the room, and based on what I can see, things have changed quite a bit.
Oh, tremendously.
Well, the Enoch girl brought them here for safety. She met a man here. A man that I felt she probably shouldn't have trusted, and I mean no offense to present company, but he was a Bechtlerite. And
None taken.
from what I can gather, he did this.
Oh no. Are you sure?
What? How?
He was a very powerful necromancer who enticed them to this island, the promise of safety in the face of some horrific tragedy that was either going to or in the process of occurring, and well, he used their isolation and being trapped here against them and killed them. Not with a knife, not with a sword, with a word and a gesture. One by one, they fell screaming and wouldn't stop until he sewed their mouths shut and tore something very precious from them and devoured it, one by one.
Saoirse just has her hands covered over her mouth, and like her eyes have her eyes have widened, and her like iris and people have gone like smaller, like, you know, that oh shit, that's horrible like sort of face on her.
Understandably.
Uki is standing there and starting to shake and is gritting her teeth and literally digging her, like, has her hands balled up in fists because she's just so enraged to hear of this, because there's no honor in torturing and of this, to hear of this. Death, death comes for reasons. This is not something that is acceptable as she hears this.
Understandable.
She looks over at this rather odd Shawnekeesian that she that the crew has met, and Saoirse will say, well, the awful tragedy that you mentioned in your story, just to inform you, is a tragedy that's called the Blight. Some 200 years ago, the then emperor of the Bectorites unleashed what we call the Blight on the Isles of Shawnee. All of our people were killed in the blast, and it spread and it spread until it eventually came to a stasis and has been on Cairne ever since that day, so many years ago. It's affected all of life on Cairne to where there's only a small portion of the continent that is even farmable anymore. The Isles of Shawnee are absolutely dangerous to visit. No one's tried. In fact, us visiting Hollowhaven, this is the first that I've seen of anything that our people used to visit in the times before the Blight. No one's ever made the attempt to venture out here. And why I asked, am I surprised at why you were unblemished, is ever since the day the Blight fell, all of our people have been scarred the way that I am currently. All of the Shawnikesians that day were affected, the ones that were still living. And it's infected us to the point where it's passed on to our children. I was not alive the day that the Blight fell. I was born with these scars. And the only Shawnikesians that I were aware of that were unscarred were the Somnambulists, so to see you that didn't have any void scars, I was very surprised.
As you're explaining this, you can see the waves of emotion coming over her face. Just her eyes kind of start that, they get that glimmer, and she swallows hard a couple times. Her brow knits. When her face goes dour, when the sadness of what you're saying begins to kind of show on her, it's almost like the lights in the room dim slightly. And as you continue talking and you tell her about the scarring and the blight and everything, she stands up very gently and kind of walks over to you as you're speaking and kneels down next to you. And as you get to that point where you kind of ended there, she's just begun to reach up with a finger. And unless you stop her, she begins to kind of trace the scars on your face with a very concerned, caring look on her face.
She won't stop her.
It's a very gentle thing, more of shock and awe of what you've just told her. Her touch is kind of cold and still somehow strangely soothing. But she's biting her lip and she's choking down some tears right now, you can tell.
Saoirse will reach out and hug her.
She returns the embrace fully, just a real, tight hug, like she's been waiting to hug somebody for a long time, you can tell.
Saoirse will squeeze just as hard back. She's a hugger.
So, when you're... after you've embraced one another, she pulls back, kind of gives you this determined look, and nods at you, and in Shawnikesian, she says, "Don't worry, sister. All will be made whole again, I know it."
In Shawnikesian, she'll say back, "That's actually why we're out here." So I think at that, in common, she will start launching into the story of the Somnambulists. So, she said, "You see, after the day that the Blight fell, the gods actually abandoned the world. But Bodhi, our Bodhi, there were 12 Shawnikesians that he put into a sort of stasis, and they wander Cairne, unaging, unchanged since the day the Blight fell, and all carry a piece of what we call the Somnambulous Prophecy. And whenever it's time for one of the Shawnikesians to utter their portion, one of the Somnambulists to utter their portion of the prophecy, they will awaken and say their piece at what we assume is the right place and the right time at the moment that they're supposed to. And they say that whenever the 12th Shawnikesian, or whenever the 12th Somnambulist has uttered their portion of the prophecy, then that will unlock Cairne and pave the way for the gods to return. And 3 Shonakijans. So I keep saying Shonakijans. 3 somnambulists so far have awoken, and their portions of the prophecy has been completed. The 4th one, I actually followed, and in a tavern, uttered her portion of the prophecy in my presence. And at this point, she's going to take the key around her neck and hold it up and say, "That's what we're here for."
So, you travel with purpose, then?
You do indeed travel with purpose.
But what of them? She's speaking in Shonakisian still. She points at Wilhelm and Uki. Why are you traveling with the Becklerites?
So Uki there isn't a Becklerite anymore. There was a war between the humans, and they split off into 4 different factions. Uki's people are called the Haverstedians, and they are steadfast allies, and even Wilhelm there, our Becklerite friend, even he is... All the Becklerites generally, since the Blight happened, most of the ones that I've met have actually been very apologetic about the Blight and what they have done to us, and have been very, at least as far as Wilhelm's concerned, and I know I can certainly say this is true of Wilhelm, but have been very kind, very sweet. They are allies to our cause as well, and are here on this journey. Wilhelm there has actually been there since the very beginning, and he is what we call a benevolent, and they are the healers in a world absent divine healing. He has been here for us, and everyone on the ship are steadfast allies and friends. We're all on this journey together.
Question.
Yes.
The party that we're currently in joined together after the first prophecy was already said, right? Did we come in, like, right when it was being said and they died?
Well, you witnessed the 4th.
Yeah, so maybe not the beginning, but...
Yeah.
Right.
So the fourth utterance is the one you witnessed in that little tavern you all started your adventure in.
Okay.
That was the
Just making
4th
sure, 'cause
utterance.
I remember that not being the first. And I was
Yeah.
just like, all right. Well,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, none of us were
Okay.
alive for the first, apart from Az, but he was a bit inconvenienced.
He was busy. So she says she takes all this in, and purses her lips, and her brow is still kind of knit in thought, and she looks up at you, Saoirse. She says, "It sounds like I am needed far beyond the isolation of this little island. May I ask a very large favor of you, sister?
Well, certainly.
May I travel with you, at least far enough to seek a port somewhere beyond this little rock?"
And Saoirse will look to the rest of the party and who's in the room with her and say, "She wants to travel with us to the nearest port. Shall we?" And she's going to look back at her and say, "I'm in favor of it. We're actually not that far from a port as far as I'm aware."
Yes, we are quite close to Stonebridge, my home.
That will do, if you'll have me. I could offer compensation.
I think that's generous, but I think our conversation from outside is that I think if the rest of the party agrees, we've been fairly compensated by being able to replenish supplies from here before we journey on to Stonebridge.
We don't need anything of you, sister.
Very kind. Is there a place where I might rest for a while? I feel this is a lot to process.
Sure. And Saoirse will lead her to, one of these dorm areas.
Okay. And she'll thank you very much. She'll offer you another embrace if you'll take it. And a very kind of weary smile, and she'll kind of settle in and sit on the bunk thoughtfully. And you can tell she's mulling over everything she's just learned.
I know it's quite a lot.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. I can't picture what this must have been like for you.
Well, I was born into all of this, so everything that I've experienced, it's been decades in the past, like over 100 years. I'm only 27.
There's nothing wrong with that. Young is young and serves its tender purpose, for sure.
Indeed, but still, I know nothing of the world before, and what the days immediately following the Blight were like. I've only known the world as it is now, and I suppose you're just used to it. All I have are stories from my family.
It makes me a little sad that you've missed something very, very beautiful.
I feel a sadness sometimes too, a longing, but just for what could have been, but I've never seen it, so can't feel too sad over it. She just kind of says with a sheepish smile.
Well, I haven't told anyone yet, but I trust you, sister. You may call me Aisling.
I'm Saoirse.
It's an honor. I will rest now. Thank you.
Of course. And she'll exit the room and leave her be.
Okay. All right. So, what's everybody else doing here?
I have been listening intently because while I've heard references to the fourth prophecy, this is, I'm just fixated in listening and taking this in.
Okay. A lot of news, a lot to take in. So,
I'm remembering the tree whispers I was investigating about a dark power kind of growing in the west prior to my imprisonment.
Yeah, and now
I never got a chance to see that one through, and then I got put in a wall for 200 years.
Now Az knows about the Blight.
That was a bad thing.
Yeah.
Looks like that didn't turn out so great.
Now Az knows about the Blight.
Yeah.
Because Saoirse said all of that in common, so everyone would have understood what she's saying.
It's true.
And that's putting together like
Pieces.
some intelligence reports, like memories of something that I should have probably been dealing with. I was inconvenienced.
So are we launching the Orti? Are we leaving the island?
Well, you know, this would be a good time to investigate some more.
It's your call. What is the plan?
I vote we head out.
Saoirse's going to vote we head out.
I believe we have refueled and everything. We have more herbs, we have food. My concern is the longer we stay, the more likely we are to run into that little man again. And it did not go. I don't think it would go well for someone. Not sure who. But I would not no need for anyone to get hurt.
That's fair.
You want me to go start stoking the furnace then?
Yes. By the way, I did a bit of research.
Okay.
Regards stoking furnaces.
Oh, good, good.
It is not a perpetual operation for most sizable furnaces. It's you load it, you get a little bit of running out of it, and then you gotta load it again. Sort of in a continuous process. So he's not like 24/7 occupied shoveling coal into the furnace.
That makes sense.
No.
It is a good thing.
Restocking the furnace every so often, and in the interim time, he summons a bench and just starts like pressing weights down here in the open area. Just kind of like in between sets, gets up and fuels the furnace.
He's making full use of that time.
Yep.
He's going to get one more point in strength, guaranteed.
It's gonna happen.
All right.
Well, if you want to take off, you got to come up and tell listener he's chilling up here with Lenway in the captain's bubble.
Saoirse will climb up and tell listener that we all want to lunch and head to Stonebridge.
All right.
Ah, very good. Did you learn anything from our guest?
Oh, a lot. And just to speed things along, Saoirse will tell listener everything that she mentioned.
Gotcha.
All right.
Except for her name, because, Saoirse is respectful of that.
That's fine. And I'm sure she would appreciate it. Are we headed to Stonebridge? Is that the plan?
Oh, yeah. I'll start piloting us up in the Stonebridge direction. I will make a comment to Saoirse before we head off. Says, pity. So many dead trapped here, but if they were bound by a necromancer, I'm not certain at all how I would free them. I shall simply have to recall for later.
Saoirse nods.
The plot thickens. Dun dun dun.
I knew Stapleton was up to some shit.
So, here's what we can do.
You don't have a black and red carriage with bones on it intended for you to, go to Sigil whenever the world was sealed off, and you don't have something up with you. Yeah.
Also important, though, we did actually meet one confirmed Becht necromancer.
Yeah, you did.
Also true.
Zendel.
He was like the official necromancer.
Hey, it was a big deal.
Don't know if Phoebe would have anything to do with the necromancer, if it in fact was Phoebe that, you know.
If you remember, that
led-
particular necromancer had a pretty strong tie to,
The royal family.
well, not only the royal family, but also the creature that would become.
Ho, ho, ho.
True. Very true.
So,
Also-
sorry, go ahead.
What?
I was just gonna say, wasn't Phoebe half demi? Wasn't her father like the god of death?
She was a child of a god.
I believe Church referred to as an avatar.
I
Phoebe?
thought it was the god of death.
Yes.
But yeah, it was her dad.
Phoebe was an adept.
Adept.
She was like a natural-born sorceress prodigy with necromancy, which is terrifying to put that kind of power in a child's hands. That's why you found her playing with zombies down in an abandoned mine. So, and I see your message there, Lenway. We can, if you guys want, that's fine. What I was going to say is, what we can do is speed up a little time. The trip from here to Stonebridge will be uneventful. That won't be an issue, unless you guys want to deviate. In which case, there could be things that happen.
No, I think
Kinda
the plan.
sailing straight.
Yeah, the plan was to stop at Hollowhaven and then be on Stonebridge.
Okay.
The only problem, of course, is Stonebridge will not have the kind of dock that you need to dock the Orty.
No, but Stonebridge is like you can pull up on the land and then walk to the gate. It's not a huge deal, provided they don't blow you out of the water as you approach.
Yeah, I bring us in a good ways down, like
Yeah, I see where
outside of cannon range.
I see where you've moved there. So
How,
yeah,
How long does it take to get there?
that's what I'm actually in the process of figuring right now.
Because I will be working in my lab, and depending on the time frame, I may have done things.
Because that's we're estimate say about 150 miles. Estimate.
Or
200
taking
at the
haul
most.
ass, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
It moves. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes.
in a day.
Yeah.
So let's say if you're taking your time and navigating around the remaining graveyard of ships,
We would like to avoid that, yes.
and then coming around to try and stay out of cannon range. We'll say it's just about a full day, just because of maneuvering cautiously. So when we pick back up, you guys will be on your final approach in the morning of the next day. Up to Stonebridge. You'll be just coming into range, to visual range, and you'll need to decide what to do to let them know that you are a friendly target, or
Yeah, a friendly target is a bit of a contradiction in terms.
well, the vast majority of their cannons are turned towards the water. They are not used to anything friendly coming out of the water, so all they're going to see is this huge tentacled thing coming out of the water.
I imagine that Uki knows some sort of a, like, you know, we come in peace signal that's, like, you know, big and visible.
But Uki and I have actually talked about this a little bit.
Okay.
Do you remember what we kind of determined, Uki? About the
Not precisely. So we could
semaphore,
yeah.
the flag communication.
Yeah, but do we want to save that for next time to do the formal approach?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's something to keep in mind.
Mhm.
Also, it's been it'll be a full day.
Yeah.
Yay, long rest.
Yeah, you kind of a long rest. Get your hit point back. Your guest will rest through that time.
While we're up to that, I actually want to get Genesis's attention as we are doing our pilot and first mate business up on the bridge.
Okay.
Say, first mate,
Yes.
have you seen our guest yet?
Yes.
Why doesn't she have a mind?
I don't know.
I find the business very suspicious.
Maybe
Will
she's
you
just-
help me?
Maybe she's just a politician. Don't look into it.
That would explain the very well refined social graces.
Eh,
But will you help me?
with what?
I suspect that she is a type of creature that is perhaps even less common than I. And that the effects she has on others may not be to their best interest.
Well, that's not good news to hear right after we let her on board the ship.
The last creature that I was unable to even reach out and feel a true mind to was, well, the strange beast that leapt upon our vessel at the last island. I believe odd things are happening out here.
In Cairne?
Who would believe it? You understand minds better than any of the rest of our friends. Please help me observe her. I must figure out what it is that she is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to say.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, something to keep in mind for when we return in 2 weeks. Not only are we pulling into Stonebridge, so keep in mind how you're going to do that safely. Anything that's occurred over the course of the day that it takes you to get there that you want to do, we can handle that off screen or after the fact. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll even have that new logo by then. I believe our meeting is tomorrow, so should have some more details following that, especially for our team here. And of course we'll disseminate that out towards you lovely viewer, listener folks out there.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
We're traveling for a full long rest.
Yes.
Am I observing her for the full long rest?
She's in her own bunk. So what are you doing to observe her?
Oh, she's in her own bunk, and I'm trying to figure out why listeners asking me to observe her when she's in her own area.
I think he's talking about mentally.
Yes. He was not able to get a read on her mind, like, period.
So I'm
But
doing
for
that.
him, telepathy is kind of a natural thing, whereas for you, it's a learned skill that you have based on your abilities.
It's a natural thing for her as well.
Yeah, but it's like you've practiced and gotten better at it, whereas my telepathy is just I have telepathy.
For you,
Uh,
it's more like
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out timelines. What are you asking for? What do you want me to be doing? Because if you're insisting that I observe her over the course of that 8 hours, then I can't say that I'm doing what I've been doing.
Oh, no. If she's busy this whole time, you do whatever it is you're doing. He's asking for your help going forward. He's basically building this kind of secret. We have a secret now, is what I'm saying.
He has a concern.
Yes.
Okay.
He has a suspicion. He's confiding in you his suspicion so that you, who are also kind of an expert in this, can help him observe.
Okay.
He values your opinion on this matter.
Makes sense.
Is it possible to continue with the little side mission that I was doing? While we're, kind of, in general, when we get back, I can kind of...
Still trying to attune? Or figure out the staff, I should say.
If we're traveling for 8 hours, that's 8 chances, at least 4 of those, I would be dipping downstairs to be like, I'm gonna look at it one more time. Okay, I'm done. All right, okay.
So I will say this. I'll give you the 4 chances. You're gonna have to skyrocket your roll to pull anything out of arcane text without any arcane knowledge.
Yeah, I'm shooting for a nat 20 or something.
Pretty much.
Which is why I'm trying to get all the attempts in.
Hey. You go ahead if you want.
So let's see how bad my luck is.
Don't crit fail.
Ooh, imagine if. Oh my god.
Launch a fireball in your room.
Oh my god, imagine.
It's all metal. Don't worry about it.
She's not.
Oh my god. I'm gonna use a luck point for that. I'm gonna use a luck point for that. That can't be. No.
That's not how it ends.
Okay.
16. Okay, for that one attempt, 16. We're taking.
I will say you it starts to kind of heat up in your hands. And you're like, what? No.
Oh, no. Nope. Getting... Okay, so there's heat powers. Interesting.
Not shocking.
Right. Okay. Boring. 11.
2 more.
The words are insignificant. It heats up. And that's all I know. $15 again. Same thing.
Oh
my god!
That one pretty good.
Oh my god!
From a 1 to a 20. From a 1 to a 20.
If that doesn't do it, then it's not getting done.
Oh my god!
Something about Genesis and languages.
I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Just solid, foundational solid skills.
So yeah, as you're kind of pulling up and Stonebridge's walls are in the visible, in the distance, it finally kind of clicks that contained within this staff is some sort of seismic ability. An ability to actually route geothermal energy out of the ground at a desired location. It's very dangerous.
Interesting.
I will say now that you kind of understand that, you kind of make sense of the words you would need to activate it and how to direct it. You don't fully understand the repercussions that could follow, just you are aware that there probably are going to be some. And that it does require that you attune to it, actually attune to it.
Okay, so now that I know this, can I start trying to attune to it, or is this just kind of just a fact-finding mission complete?
It'll take another long rest to attune
Okay.
to it. But you can,
Okay.
yeah. Just keep in mind, It is magic.
With great power comes great responsibility. Got it.
Well, it is magic, and you're coming into a city.
Highly illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least I figured out what I can for now, and we can kind of tuck that under the mattress and just kind of.
And I say that too because you guys have been away from civilization for a while.
For a minute.
I'm
And
just gonna slip back upstairs.
it's easy to forget that magic will get you in some serious trouble.
Yeah. Oh my god. God.
The Hyverstedians do not like magic generally.
Fair.
But yeah, so we'll wrap here and pick back up in 2 weeks. Of course, 1 week we'll be back with
Sigil.
Um,
Sigil Confidential.
We also do have a recap session coming up when we do the final actual change, and I think that'll be a recap basically for both games more or less. I don't think we don't need to do 2 separate ones, do we?
We could sneak it all into one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's they're connected, so it is kind of.
Yeah, I think it would be in our best interest to kind of start from Stapleton investigations, explain that. Then we have a small tidbit about the Blight, and then we go in to have a recap of Cairne and Sigil.
That'll work. So we will definitely look forward to that because that'll be a relaxing, fun evening. There'll probably be some good laughs and walks down memory lane for all of us. It's been 2.5 years, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of story there.
December 2019, y'all.
Long time ago. But yeah, stay tuned for that, and we will see you soon. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.